Hello, everyone. I hope doing well at home. Okay, so just recall that what all the things we have done in the previous class. So, chapter name, that is chapter number one, that is what is democracy and why democracy, right? We have started this chapter. Then, next slide, that is meaning of democracy. I hope you are clear with the definition. Democratic countries and non-democratic countries. We have done about differentiate between both non-democratic countries and democratic countries. We have started, that is features of democracy, right? And we have done three features of democracy. Today we will do next feature, but before that, just I'll go through the previous features which we have done yesterday, day before yesterday, sorry. uh, and from which country we got that feature also, that also I will just recall those things. Now first example, that is Pakistan, right? And as we know that uh, in 1999 and after till 2000 he tried to made himself less accountable, and he has done a lot of malpractices and fraud things, and due to that and one more thing, that he gave more powers to the military. You should remember that in democratic countries, powers should not be given more to the military, right? And what features we got, that in a democracy, the final decision making power must rest with those elected by people, right? So this feature has been given in your textbook. You can just go through that. Second feature we got from two countries, that is from one from China and another is Mexico. We know that there were regular elections were happening in China as well as in Mexico. In China after 5 years and Mexico after 6 years. But one country, that is the, they are giving more preference. China is giving more preference to the uh, one party, that is Chinese Communist Party, and definitely other parties are not getting an opportunity to put forward their ideology. Next is Mexico. There we have seen again a lot of malpractices are happening, or you can say dirty tricks, which has been played there, and due to that only Mexico is the party PRI is able to win the elections in Mexico, right? So as we have seen that how media has been ignored there. Not only that, opposition parties, their their party meetings also got disrupted. So these all the things happen, right? So what we got the feature from these two countries, that one is a democracy must be based on free and fair election, where those currently in power have a fair chance of losing, right? So in short, free and fair election should be there in the country, right? Next thing is third point, what we got, third feature, what we got, that is one person, one vote and value, one value, sorry. And from the three countries, namely Saudi Arabia, Estonia, and Fiji, what we have seen, these all the things are not available there. Means if you talk about majority and minority, that problem is there, or means discrimination, or you can see that even people are not getting one value. Not only forget about the one vote, they are not getting the one value also. So that discrimination we have seen, majority and minority. So we got the third feature, that is in a democracy, each adult citizen must have one vote and each vote have one value, right? So I hope till here everything is clear. If not, as I told you, you can WhatsApp me, and definitely in the next class I will give the answers of those questions. Uh, right. Next thing is today I will take the fourth feature of democratic countries. That is, we'll before that we'll take an example of Zimbabwe. Okay, so a brief story about Zimbabwe, as uh, you could have heard about Zimbabwe, and you are aware about that where it is located. Yes, can you think about it? Yeah, definitely. South Africa, right? It is located in South Africa. So, what the story is, in 1980, they got independence from white minority, and there after that there was a party called Janu PF, right? Definitely a funny name, Janu PF, but you have to remember. And leader was Robert Mugabe. Now he was one of the person, or you can say Janu PF, one of the party. They were continuously winning. Now, definitely, there could have been some of the unfair practices in election. Now, what were those? Right? I'll just brief few malpractices. Now, first thing is that uh, Robert Mugabe, he tried to made himself less accountable, right? So he kept changing or kept doing amendments in the constitution where he made himself less accountable, right? Then not only that, whenever the opposition parties used to conduct meetings, now ruling party used to go and disrupt their meetings. Now, in a democracy, this is not acceptable. But because they were in the power, so they were disturbing the opposition parties' meetings. Then, can you believe that they were not having protests and demonstration in that country? So these all the protests and demonstration were declared illegal. If you have, then definitely you will be behind the bars. So these things were happening over there. Not only that, uh, another thing is that right to criticize the president. So no one was able to criticize the president. So what the basic, if you talk about democracy, you should remember that you can criticize the government. I'm not saying here to give the bad words. Remember, so you can't say bad words to the government, but you can criticize, right? So, for example, the best example, like whenever their prices are increasing of oil, so that price increase, it is not good for a citizen, right? So you can criticize the government that why they are increasing the prices, right? But here you have to understand that this criticism also was not allowed, and they were not able to speak a single word about Robert Mugabe, right? So next thing is censorship. Okay, what do you mean by censorship? You are already aware about that, right? So television and radio were controlled by the government and gave only the ruling party's version. Means all the good things have to the media will share only the good things about the ruling party. Means they won't show anything what they are doing wrong. So here total control on the press media, right? Next thing is there were independent newspapers, but the government harassed those journalists who went against them. It's not that there were not there were no one who used to try to publish about bad about them or whatever they have done wrong. There were, but when these people used to get to know that okay, that particular journalist is has written a few things wrong about them, then they used to harass them. Okay, then lastly, the government ignored some court judgment that went against it and pressurized judges. Just imagine that even the judiciary was under the control of Robert Mugabe or a party called JANU PF. So you have to understand here, these all the things in any democracy, it is not acceptable. But then also because they are having elections and they are having regularly elections, it doesn't mean that that country will be known as a democratic country, right? So, what the next feature comes here? That the fourth feature and the final feature comes here. That is a democratic government rules with limits set by constitution, law, and citizens' right. So you have to understand that within the limits set by the constitution, law, and citizen right. So I hope that you are cleared with the fourth feature also. Now I just summarize the all the features, right? So first feature, that is democracy is a form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people, but this definition is not adequate. For that, we have just gone through the all the examples of various countries, and after that we have done the features also. So second feature, rulers elected by people take all the major decisions, right? Second one, elections offer a choice and fair opportunity to the people to change a current ruler. So first feature, if you talk about rulers elected by the people, take all the major decisions that come. We have seen in Pakistan, right? So they there we have seen that he himself he kept changing. General Parvez Musharraf kept changing the rules and regulation, and he amended a lot of rules in the constitution also, and he made himself less accountable, right? Then second one, elections offer a choice and fair opportunity to the people to change the current ruler. So that in the countries we have seen in the example like China and Mexico. The next one is the choice and opportunity is available to all the people on an equal basis. So we have seen that the minority and majority, uh, there we have seen the discrimination like the countries Saudi Arabia, Estonia, and Fiji. And the last one, just now we have seen Zimbabwe incident. The exercise of the choice leads to a government limited by basic rules of the constitution and citizens' right. So I hope that all the fundamental features are I have covered and you understood, right? Okay. Next thing is uh, next topic, that is okay. Let me see that because yesterday I had made another slide, right? So I bought that slide for you all. So here, demerits of democracy. Okay, the students who have participated in MEN, they could have been very happy to go through this chapter, because definitely these all the topics will definitely help them out. Or if there could have been interactive class, then definitely they could have put some points over here, right? So demerit of democracy. In your textbook, this topic has been given, that is argument against democracy. Even question can come, what are the disadvantages of democracy? So any question, but meaning is same for all those questions, right? So first point, that is leaders keep changing in a democracy, right? Please listen carefully. Leaders, so this is one of the disadvantage. Uh, Leaders keep changing in a democracy. This leads to instability. Now, the, not to give more examples, just one example I'll give you here. You have seen our prime minister. You have seen chief minister also. You could have sometime you could have seen the coalition government, and in coalition government there are some coalition governments who just continue for few months, and after that the new government comes. So what is that? That is instability. So we have said tenure for 5 years, but not necessary. If their party is not in the majority, then definitely there are chances that the new person can come and take over the position. So in that is known as a instability. So it is not good for any democracy, right? Okay. First, after first feature, next one is next point. Democracy is all about political competition and power play. There is no scope of morality. So first we should understand that what do you mean by power play? Power play means here that is the people who can influence, and morality, moral values, principles concerning the distinction between right and wrong or good and bad behavior. So here, if you talk about in democracy, political competition, everything is about political competition. You have money, you have backup, you are there in the competition, or you are not, right? And there is no scope for morality. As we have seen the examples from the various countries, there are a lot of malpractices are happening, lot of dirty tricks are happening. So definitely your moral values, you have to sometime you have to keep aside, right? So and you could have seen that lot of most of the politician in India, they if you go through their records, you will find out that they are involved with a lot of criminal activities, right? I'm not saying all of them, but most of them are involved. So here you have to understand that when you join politics somewhere, there is a very less scope of morality, right? Okay, next thing is, so many people have to be consulted in a democracy that it leads to delay, right? So now you could have if you you could have experienced this. If not, then definitely I will ask you to go to some of the government offices, and you will find out that for anything whatever you want to get it done from the government, it takes time, right? So you are first, you have to talk with the peon, then he will pass that to the officer, then the to the higher officer, so that continues, right? It takes time, but you go do the same thing from the public institutions, or I will say not public, private institutions, you'll find out that that those things are happening bit fast, right? So here, that is one of the biggest demerit or disadvantage of democracy, that it leads to whatever your work is get delayed, right? So this is the third point. Next one is elected leaders do not know that best interest of the people, and it leads to bad decisions. So elected leaders do not know what the best interest of the people, and it leads to a bad decision. So if you talk about our constituency, if I ask you who is the MLA or who is the MP, definitely you could have been not aware about that. But yeah, because some people who have gone through the things, then definitely they could have been aware about it. But the similar thing is on their behalf also, they are not known to that what is happening in their constituency, right? Because they have to, if you talk about this Rajkot, they have to be in the Gandhinagar. So how they will know? So very, sometime they know, but they are then also they are not able to work on that. And the people, their best interest, what should they do for the people? Again, so if they try to do, then it leads to a bad decision. So this is again one another disadvantage of democracy. Okay, next one is democracy leads to corruption, or it is based on electoral competition. So I don't have to explain much about this, because this topic, electoral competition, I'll take in the next chapter also, or in the chapter of electoral competition. There I'll take. But you have to understand that uh, corruption is involved in uh, democracy. Means what I mean to say here. So every work what you do, there somewhere some or other thing you'll find out that people are corrupted. So definitely when there is a corruption in democracy, uh, people won't be able to do the some development work for the country. Okay, next thing, next point, that is ordinary people don't know what is good for them. See, sometimes I laugh on this point, and sometimes really I accept also that in India, people are there who doesn't know that what is good for them. Right now, you will ask, how? Yeah, good question. Now you have to understand here that the if I ask you only that are you aware about all the fundamental rights, you will say yes. I'll say that how many are there? You will say, sir, six are there. If I some student might be saying seven, some might be saying five also. Not a strange thing, right? So now, if you said correctly also, then if I ask you which are they, then again the one question. So every step, whatever question I ask, you will see that students are decreasing, right? So if being a educated person, we are not aware about our fundamental rights, forget about the rest of the country, right? There are a lot of people who have not gone to the school, so how they will know about what are the fundamental rights, what are your fundamental duties, right? So ordinary people, so that's why I most of the time I say in the classes that this point somewhere it is relevant, right? So ordinary people don't know what is good for them. So next thing, what is written, they should not decide anything. Now, how it is possible in the democracy that the people are not deciding anything? So who have gone through the my previous lecture, that time I had shared one thing, that you can ask me your doubts. I had given my WhatsApp number also, and I'm really happy that I got a few questions. And one of the question is I got from Adesha Swar, and she has asked me that what about the lost votes in the election in the democratic country. I repeat question what she has asked me. What about the lost votes in the elections in the democratic country? And see here, from the question which she has asked me, now here somewhere you will get the answer also of that question, that ordinary people don't know what is good for them. These people are not responsible, who are not casting the vote, they are not responsible at all. It is a moral duty of each and every citizen of the country to cast the vote whose age is reached to 18. But here you have to understand that people are not taking responsibility when the day comes. They people take a holiday at home and they enjoy there and this with whole family. So here, if you talk about a huge number, you can Google it. You will find that a huge number where people are not casting the vote, and it's a huge loss because that's why with a less number, if you talk about the highest percentage of voting in various states, that is 60. It comes to 67% or 69%. Means remaining 31, 32% people are not going and casting the vote. If they cast the vote, then quite possible that the result will be difference. But those people are enjoying at home and they say that okay, it doesn't make a difference if we cast the vote or not to cast the vote. I request other students also, they can WhatsApp me questions. I will take randomly those questions and definitely I'll try to answer them. Okay. Next thing, that is the next slide. Okay. Merits of democracy, right? So, what are the merits of democracy? Definitely, till now, so many examples we have done, as well as we have done a lot of features also. That the first point that comes that the democratic government should be accountable, isn't it? Right. So, first point which is given in your textbook, that is a democratic government is a better government because it is a more accountable form of government, right? So I'd given a lot of examples over there, but the one thing I would like to add up here, that is democracy is better than any other form of government in responding to the needs of the people. At least if you talk about other forms of government, you talk about dictatorial rule, monarchy, and all that. Somewhere they can neglect the people, but here in a democratic country, people, all the leaders, all the representatives, they are accountable to the people. Okay, so you take a best example. Just now you talk about the lockdown. So this lockdown has been declared by the government of India. Definitely, who took the lead? Prime Minister Modi. And you have seen that this accountability, how step by step, it has gone with the lockdown 1, 2, 3, and 4. So step by step. So they, what is that? Is shows that it is a accountable, right? So these people are accountable for the citizen of this country, right? Okay. Next thing, second point, democracy improves the quality of decision making. Very good point. So if you talk vice versa, we are seen in the demerit, right? So there, what we have seen that it takes delay. But another side, what is the good part of it? Like every coin has two sides. So this is the good side of democracy. Democracy is based on consultation and discussion. A lot of discussions there. It goes. You have seen that Lok Sabha's sessions. You have seen that state assembly sessions. You could have seen that them. So there, what they just don't sit idly, they discuss a lot of consultation. As you know that three institutions are there, and like judiciary, then legislature, executive. So these all, they are interlinked with each other, and they keep discussing. You talk about lockdown. For you, lockdown 1, 2, 3, and 4, but you don't know that how much strategy they could have put in those all the lockdowns. If you see that today, odd and even, you just go to the market and you will find out the odd even in that number, they are opening the shops. So what is that? That is a strategy of the government. So lot of they they do the discuss, and they put forward the whatever the plans they have, right? Okay, next thing is, uh, next point, democracy provides a method to deal with differences and conflicts. So, as you are aware about this, that in India, people belong to different region, speak different languages, practice different religions, and have different caste. So, all the things are different, language different, culture different. So, how this government is going to deal? It's a very difficult task. If you talk about monarchy, quite possible that they can give a preference to particular religion. If you talk about dictatorial rule, they could have been given giving more preference to one of the group. Possibilities there, but in democracy, you won't find that. Today lockdown was there, it was not only for the Christians, or it was not only for the Muslims, or it was not only for the Hindus, it was for everyone. So means you have to understand that democracy is only one of the solution to remove these all the differences or conflicts, right? So democracy provides the only peaceful solution to this problem. Otherwise there can be riots, right? So different groups can live with one another, with one another peacefully in uh, okay, so different groups can live with one another peacefully. So it can only happen in democratic country, right? Okay. Next point is democracy enhances the dignity of citizen, right? Just now we had talked about that in the if it demerits their no moral values at all, right? So but here dignity, if you talk about here, this is maintained, this can be maintained only in the democratic country. How? If you talk about poorest and the least educated has the same status as the rich and the educated, and this thing only can happen in democracy. People are not subjects of the rulers, they are the rulers themselves. See, try to understand here, this is very very important point. Here you are not subject of the ruler, rather than that you are ruler, right? So you have to behave like a ruler. It doesn't mean that you go and just remove the chief minister or any other minister and say that okay, I'm the ruler. No, not like that, because you have elected them, so you have to respect. And but you should remember that, so you have to track on those peoples, and you should convey them that okay, this is our problem and it is your duty to solve that problem, right? So finally, the last point, democracy is better than other forms of government because it allows us to correct its own mistake. See, this is not happening in monarchy, this is not happening in dictatorial rule, but this is happening only in the democratic country. You will get another chance. If you talk about the BJP government in 2014, they won the election. In 2019, also they won the election. In the next election, quite possible that the Congress can come in the power. So it's not we can't say that BJP will continue in the next election. They can also and they cannot also. Why? Because if the Congress start doing good work, definitely they can come in the next election. So here, whatever the mistakes you have done, you can you you can remove those mistakes, and you can come up with a correction. That can happen only in democracy, not in dictatorial rule. Why? Simple thing is here that people won't give you another chance. You talk about any dictatorial rule, you will find out over there people either they kill them, or some or other country they kill those leaders, right? So they are not getting any chance to come to remove their mistakes, right? So I'll just read out this. The advantage in the democracy is that such mistake cannot be hidden for long. So if you have done a mistake, some mistake, you talk about, a lot of people are saying that the BJP has done a biggest mistake to introduce the demonetization, though it was not, right? That is my opinion. But you have to understand here, according to the people, that was a mistake, right? So but there now it we have to see that whether people say good things about this lockdown or not. So that will be their opinion. So but in case some mistake, any mistake that current government do, they have chance to improve, and you cannot hide that. If BJP think that they are they can do anything and people won't see that, it's not possible at all in the democracy. There is a space for public discussion on these mistakes, and there is a room for correction. So this thing can happen only in democracy. So I hope that you could have understood what are the merits of democracy, right? So as I told you, again I am sharing that you can ask me questions. You can send your questions on my WhatsApp number. In the next class, definitely I'll take those questions. Okay. Next topic: broader meaning of democracy. Now here you have to understand. Uh, uh, Here all the people, they are not involved in democracy. Now before that, just I'll read out some sentences so you will understand that what I mean to say. In the countries we call democracy, all the people do not vote. Now who all the people? include including you also, and including I also. Everyone comes under that, right? So all the people do not rule. You talk about under 18, you talk about under above 18. They are not ruling, right? So all the people we are talking here, we are talking about us only, right? A majority is allowed to take decision on behalf of all the people. Now, who is majority? Above 18. So this, they are going and casting the vote, right? So those people plays very important role that who will come in the power. Okay, then even the majority does not rule directly. Now even they are not ruling directly here, and the majority of the people rule through their elective representative. So elected representative. So here what you have to understand that all the people, we all are involved in that. The majority of group above 18, and after that the representative, they are only ruling, right? So I got a this. I will just finish this. Fine. So why this is necessary? Just a very good example. Modern democracies involve such a large number of people that it is physically impossible for them to sit together and take a collective decision. Is it possible for everyone to go to parliament every day and they will discuss all the things whatever they're having problems? No, not possible at all, right? So and physically going, can you go to the Gandhinagar every day? Can you go to the Delhi every day? Not possible. Not every day. Forget about every day. Can you go for 10 days? No, not possible. That's why you are having representative on your behalf. He is going to represent over there. Then even now some students will be there sitting and saying, no sir, I can go every day, no problem. If you can go there, even if they could, the citizen does not have the time, the desire, or the skills to take part in all the decisions. So if you go there also, I will say that sorry, you have to grow up. The reason is because that skill which you required, that is not with you. Because all the, if you talk about railway department, you are not aware about that what railway department is doing. You talk about financial department, you don't know. Today if you talk about budget, which has been in, one of the biggest relief has been given by the government to the people. So if I say that okay, you now you distribute this, you won't be having any idea about it. If you have some idea, then other part you could have been not knowing about it, right? So here it's very difficult everyone to go and take or to participate in those discussion, right? So today I'll just end up here my session because time is over. You could have been having other class also, but I request that please you can put forward your questions, whatever doubts could have come in the chapter. So I will take those doubts in the next class. Till then, bye. Take care.